Do you ever feel like you don't belong in your life? Like there's something missing, or there must be an easier way? I did, for as long as I can remember. Looking back, I think it's hard for me to remember a time where I was truly happy with the whole picture, and mainly because of work, or so I thought. I must have had over 20 jobs by the time we moved here, and they've all been really different. It always felt like I was searching for the one that's going to bring me that perfect work-life balance and make me feel rewarded for my efforts. Working with charities, in mental health, with dogs, with children, but it never did. Truth is, I don't think it was ever the job really, but the lifestyle itself. It wasn't even as complicated back then either, or maybe I was just a little more blissfully ignorant as opposed to completely aware of what's going on in the food chain and the complicated world around us. Or maybe my 20-something-year-old brain just wasn't ready yet. We always had a farm or the country in our sights, but never really thought we'd actually achieve it until we were at least in our 40s. Mainly because of money, but I think more so due to a skewed evaluation of risk to benefit ratio tied with limiting self-beliefs. But it was losing my dad to motor neuron disease before his 57th birthday that shifted something in me, and I guess propelled me forward into searching for answers, or at least explanations, as to how and why this modern world is making us so horribly sick. People everywhere working their socks off for money, a man-made phenomenon, just to spend the majority of their lives away from their children, and more often than not, working towards what feels like an inachievable goal of the retirement dream, that if you're actually lucky enough, you will actually live long enough to chase and catch. Maybe I have a morbid view, I don't know, but what I do know is that there is something about this world and the way that we live that is making us sick. And of course, the further I looked for the truth on this journey of enlightenment, the deeper I fell down rabbit hole after rabbit hole, for better or for worse. The most challenging thing about rabbit hole diving is knowing what to believe, because there is such a thing as bad science, and there's also plenty of people in this world with nothing better to do than spread misinformation. But one thing I have learned along this overwhelmingly winding road is that you have to look at all the information from all the sides of the story and make up your own mind based on what feels right to you. And that's in your head, in your heart, and in your gut. Easier said than done, right? But now, as I sit here in my kitchen with nothing but the morning bird song all around, I feel blessed to now be able to live a life that keeps my heart full. And another thing I know is Dad would have loved it here. Losing him is really what gave me the strength to leave everything behind and start from scratch, building the life I not always knew I wanted, but I needed. I don't think without such a life-changing event before my 30s, I would have gone for it so soon. I probably would have waited until my 40s to even begin searching for the dream. You see, you hear it all the time, but life is actually too short, and the decisions you make now are going to be what pave the way for your future self and your children in health, wealth, and all that's in between. Dad only ever wanted to retire and move to a little bungalow by the beach, but he never got the chance. So living here is kind of my retirement. Retirement from a world driven by systems, consumerism, speed, technology, and obviously sickness. My attempt at living the life I love and loving the life I live and succeed in. Living the life I no longer feel like I need to escape because it's already filled with so much beauty. Some might call it the simple life, but that doesn't mean it's easy. But the challenges are healing and wholesome, and they give back as much, if not more, than what they take. I had my little girl 3 years after losing Dad, so sadly, she never got to meet him. And after 3 years of living down a rabbit hole, this is what gave us the final push we needed. I started thinking about the kind of life I wanted for her and the fact that maybe never getting to help her raise her own children is a dark possibility, and how the choices I make with and for her will shape how she grows both in body and mind. It made me look at all my struggles, old and new, and question with meaning how far was I willing to go to change it for her. And somehow we ended up here. Looking back, it all happened so fast. I actually can't remember forming any kind of plan, but quietly in the background, I think maybe subconsciously, because who can think straight with a newborn, we somehow followed a trail that led us here. The very beginning, the very chance to build what has been calling our name for so long. It's a powerful thing, parenthood, because no longer is it just about you. Well, it's rarely about you actually, it's all about them. And it sparks enough energy in all the right places if you let it. I look back at my childhood, when childhood meant playing out with friends after school and being home when the streetlights came on, when Segas were for a rainy day as a last choice, when phones weren't really a thing and everyone needed a knock on the door to check if anyone was home, when people actually used to meet and connect. I remember going on holidays to the Lake District in caravans, visiting caves and waterfalls, and swimming in the lakes and rivers with no adult supervision. Making friends with random kids that didn't need scheduled playdates or paid activities. I remember my dad taking us to the local bird gardens, learning about the birds, and even swimming in the local river. Looking back now, it was absolutely filthy, but we didn't care. We loved it, all of it. I remember spending all day at the beach and going in the sea in a blow-up dinghy, it capsizing, and I swallowed so much seawater it made me sick. But I didn't mind because it was fun. We used to wake up early in the holidays and go on nature walks in the woods and feed the birds a full loaf of bread. I also remember my gran telling me stories from her childhood, like how they had to climb into their bedroom because it was one big bed for the 9 of them. How my great-grandma used to rise at 4 a.m. to go and milk the cows. How they used to walk miles across the farmers' fields to get to school. And how if they came home with a hole in their shoe, my great-grandma would fix it with a piece of leather because buying a new pair wasn't an option. Even as a child, I could see how different the two worlds were. Even only after 2 more generations, how back then, everything was more meaningful. And I want that for my kids, a connected and grounded life. It's not hard to notice how consumer and technology driven this world has become. Some kids spending as much time on screens before they're 5 as it would take to complete a university degree. I want them to have a life that teaches them to respect what's left of the natural world and how to use it to their advantage. A life that involves understanding where our food comes from and respecting that it takes time and effort to be healthy. but also a life that if when they're grown and they choose to follow the same path, they already know how to do it, so they don't have to unlearn everything they once knew, like I'm doing right now. So really, I guess there's more than just one reason why we left our old lives behind, and that it all started with one spark, but as time goes by, it quickly morphs and merges into more reasons, each with their own place in the bigger picture. You might be sat there listening to this thinking, what on earth is she talking about? And that's okay. Everyone's heart doesn't beat the same tune. But my advice to you is listen to how your own heart beats and dance along with it as much as you possibly can. Because you always think you have more time until you don't.